Hey guys, it's Elle. What is up? I hope you guys are all doing well. In this video, I kind of just wanted to talk about how to let go of control. And when I mean control, I mean control of the things that you cannot control. Because I used to struggle with this a lot. I used to spend so much time worrying about the future as well as worrying about the outcome that I wanted. Just honestly focusing way too much on the future that hasn't even been created yet. And it was only until I realized that me putting so much focus on the things that I cannot control was where I learned on why I shouldn't be doing that. And I will get into that into this video, but yeah, this video is literally just about how to let go of that control out of things that you cannot control. Because I used to beat myself up about it constantly. So let's get into the video. So the first thing I wanted to say was that I had to realize that my mindset right now in this present moment is creating my future mindsets at this present moment. So if I'm constantly thinking about something that I cannot control, I will probably manifest it in that way. If I'm thinking about something that is negative that I don't want to happen, normally it does happen. And I'm saying in the context where I'm driving and this is when I was doing some illegal stuff. And I was driving and I was like, please, like, let there not be a cop behind me in the drive-thru. And guess what happened? A cop was behind me in the drive-thru, right behind me. So what I'm telling you, negative things do manifest when you pay attention to them and when you also create them for yourself, because your mindset is all in your control. You just have to realize that it is in your control, so then you can control it, if you know what I mean. So like I was saying, the first big thing is that I create my reality by me thinking about my reality. So if I'm constantly thinking bad about something that isn't actually even happening yet, I should also take time to think about the good things that haven't even happened yet, if you know what I mean. Like I'm setting myself up for failure at that point. Because there's this saying that when you cry and stress about something before it happens, you might as well get prepared for that again. You might as well get prepared for it happen a second time, because it's going to happen that second time because you're focusing and stressing on it the first. You know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of just one example on letting go of things that you cannot control. But I would say in the second example is letting go of control of things that you can't control in other people. Because I used to want to change my mom. I used to want to change my dad, and I wanted to help heal them, and I wanted to help them grow and evolve on the same level that I was growing and evolving at a young age. But I realized that they wanted to stay the same. That was their choice. That is, you know, we have free will. And I had to let go of the control that I felt towards that and release that, because it was not serving me. Me trying to control somebody else into healing and growing and evolving is just taking more energy out of myself. And so even in another context, like say I'm letting go of control in relationships, like love relationships, it's meaning that like there's a lot of things that you cannot control. And the only way that you're going to put your mind at peace is when you focus on the things that you can control. Because if you're sitting there constantly worrying about the things that you cannot control at this present moment right now, you're not going to get anywhere except create more things that you cannot control, that feel like they're out of your hands. So if you focus on the things that you can control, that you can actually put your hands on and actually evolve and do better with, you won't even be too worried about the things that you can't control. You will realize that, oh wow, the things that I can control are right in front of me, and I just have to use and put the work in and do it, instead of sitting there and worrying about the things that you can't. And so what I was saying with like the love and the relationship perspective, it's like you can't control if they go out and cheat on you. You can't control if somebody wants to leave you. You can't control their actions in the way that they are being, even if it is negative. Yes, you can say something about it, but then you realize that, okay, it's out of my control. At the end of the day, this thing is out of my control. But what is one thing that I can focus on that is in my control, that I can get better at, or even just better yourself with? So that's another thing. And I guess that was kind of leading into my next point, which was focusing on the things that you can control. And I realized this a lot when I labeled myself with anxiety, and I realized that I was just worrying about future outcomes that haven't even happened yet, or I was worrying about things that actually weren't happening in my present moment now. And so what I had to do was bring myself present, meaning I had to be like, okay, Elle, what are the things that you can control in your life? What are the things that you can do and put action towards and even just think about? What are the things? And there was plenty. And I started to realize that, damn, there actually is a lot of things that I can control in my life right now, instead of worrying and stressing over something that I cannot control. Because that's just taking up way too much space in my brain. So I was like, no. I noticed that when I started to focus on the things that I could control and putting that energy into something that's bettering myself and that's good for myself, like focusing on those things, the more that I didn't even care about the things that I couldn't control. Because when you get into this place of uncertainty about things, I feel like that is one of the most powerful states. Because with uncertainty shows you what type of person you really are. Are you going to sit there and you're going to worry and you're going to be uncertain and you're like, what's coming next? What's this? What's that? What are you going to do with that? When you are uncertain, you're just going to sit there and be more uncertain, and it's going to create more anxiety and more worry for yourself. But if you look at uncertainty as a growing step, as well as like a place where you can evolve in, you will take the meaning and the feeling so much differently. Because uncertainty is kind of reality. Because yes, you do create your reality, and yes, you do put emotion in towards creating your reality. But if you're sitting there being uncertain, it teaches you how to kind of be patient, but as well as focusing your energies on the things that you also can control. Because yes, you're uncertain of where the future is going to go, and yes, you're uncertain with your circumstances and if it's ever going to get better, but it's all in your belief system. And so when you get in those periods of uncertainty, it's what you do with that period of uncertainty. Do you let it eat you up inside, or do you go with the flow, be patient, let the answer come to you, sit in the present moment and enjoy it because you know that you're supposed to be there? Like, uncertainty is the root of the progress as well as your growth. Because that moment that we let go and trust the universe in the face of uncertainty and that feeling of change, opportunities will show up and they will be blessings rather than curses. So when you can sit in this period of uncertainty and know that whatever the future is going to bring, it really doesn't have a label yet, and so you're sitting in this period of like kind of like stagnancy and you're uncertain, you have to fall in love with that. You have to find peace within that. And that's all what you also believe in too. Like, you could say that God has a plan. God has a plan for you. The universe has a plan for you. And yes, it also comes with your intentions that you've put into the plan, right? So God or the universe is going to set you up with the plan that your mindset was at. So if you're constantly sitting there very uncertain, very doubtful, very kind of just, you don't have the thing that you want, or you don't have the thing that you desire, and you're kind of just sitting in this period of uncertainty, you have to learn the patience and know that the universe has a plan with whatever you set for your intentions. So if you think about what's the best possible outcome, you're going to have a different experience than if you think about the worst possible outcome. So it's all about your perspective on these things. because when you constantly focusing on the things that you cannot control, whether it is the outcome that happens, and you're stressing and you're worrying and you don't know if things are going to get better, or you don't know if these things are going to happen, this is where you have to set a strong belief system. Do you choose to believe in the higher power and yourself to know that everything is going to be okay and that everything has its purpose, and wherever it takes you, it's going to be beneficial and it's going to help you learn? So if you think of things like that, you really gain a new perspective on letting go. I used to get so wrapped up in the stories that I would tell myself. I would get so wrapped up in the stories, you have no idea. And so I constantly kept creating more things that were out of my control, because I had to learn the lesson that I shouldn't be focusing on just the things that I cannot control. When you really look at it, and you look at the things that are right in front of you that you can control, it brings you into the present moment. And with the present moment, you can now change your future. And when you are sitting in the present moment and focusing on the things that you can control, you are instantly already going to be in a good vibe, because you're taking care of the things that you can control. If you're sitting there in a vibration where you're probably on TikTok and you're probably, sitting there worrying, you're doing this constant inner dialogue with yourself about things that are really truly out of your control, it's just going to keep putting you down and more down and more down and more down until you learn the hard lesson that you really have something happen in front of you where you really wanted to control it, but you really couldn't. And then you'll learn the lesson. But if you learn it when it's easier, things get easier. And I obviously know that this is easier said than done, but the first thing that I did was focus on the things that I could control, and let go of the control that I think that I have on the things that I cannot control. Because you really do. You're like, you think that you thinking about it and you stressing about it helps you have more control out of the situation or the thing that you're stressing over. But really it doesn't. It just creates it. It's going to create that bad outcome. I always constantly worried about the worst outcome about things, because I wanted to control things. And so I was controlling it in a way that wasn't in my favor, because it was starting with my mindset about it. If my mindset was going to be negative about it, it was going to come out negative. But if I sat there and I focused on, okay, what do I really, what would be the best possible outcome out of this? Truly, what would be? What? And I got into this place of oh, this would be a really good outcome. This is, who said that can't happen? Because you're easily going to probably create this negative thing to happen because you're already thinking in that context. So what happens when you think the other way? You create that positive thing. And obviously there's going to be times where your ego does come up and these doubtful thoughts come up and these self-sabotaging thoughts come up, but it's all what you do with the things that are coming up, because most of it is in the term tests. So if you have these negative thoughts come back up again and resurface when you're thinking about things that you cannot control, and you're focusing so much on these stories that you're telling yourself, you have to step in and be like, gal or boy, is this serving me? Is this serving me in this moment right now? No. Is this negative? Is this thing happening? No. So what do you gotta do? You focus on the things that you can control in your own reality. Don't focus on the things that you can't control in somebody else's reality because you love them and you care for them and you want them to do better. Because you're realizing that the only person that is helping you with you is you. So the only person that's going to help this person with this person is themselves. Because they have to go through their own lessons in life to understand these concepts as well. Like I did. So you may not even get what I'm even talking about yet, but you might go through these periods of trying to control the things you cannot control, and then you realize that you create more things that you cannot control, because what are you spending your most time on? So when you come back to this video, you're gonna be like, shit, Elle, I just created more things of this. No wonder why my life is going this way, because I'm constantly thinking this way. Yeah, if you try to switch that mindset, it really does benefit you. And I hope that this helped with clarifying how to let go of things that you cannot control. But the last thing that I wanted to say was also a big part of it is acceptance. A big part of it is accepting and forgiving as well. Because when you accept the fact that you cannot control it, when you truly feel that, like when I've been in situations with myself and I had to say to myself, Elle, like, you cannot control this. So there's no sense of you sitting here worrying about it. And if you're gonna sit here and worry about it, you better be thinking about the best possible outcome. Because if you're not, then you need to focus your time on something else that you can control. Because you gotta cut that out of your life, because you will see a really big difference when you accept that part. Because the things that are in front of you that you can control are going to help level you up, or help ascend you, or help spiritually grow you into the best version of yourself. Because if you can focus on these little things that you can control, think about in a little bit of span of time where you have other things that you can now realize that you can control, and they're different from the things that you had before. Maybe it's more blessings, maybe it's more, okay, I know that I can control the way that I react to things, or be like, okay, I know that I can control myself. I know how I can control what goes on in my life and what type of healing and growing I do. So, I hope that this video helped. I hope you found some type of clarity on how to let go of these things, and I hope you guys have a good night, or day, or evening.